There's a season in which we grow, and there's a season in which we die. And over the years, it's very easy to see how the expansion and contraction of growing and dying off actually gets bigger and bigger and bigger, metaphorically speaking, over the years. But if you just look at it from a season by season basis, it's not a reliable indicator of gauging one's evolution. So I hope these metaphors are landing for people, and I'm intentionally staying a bit vague about the nature of this dynamic I had with this person, because I'm not here to vlog about my personal life. I'm here to share the universal principles that get all of us from point A to B in the trajectory of our own becoming at whatever stage of life we're in. There's a constant growth, a constant fruition of that growth, and then a shedding, a letting go of that growth, and then a breaking away of the parts of those fruits of our efforts that have served us, so that energy can go towards other dimensions of our being, and the cycle repeats. And it's really clear to see from the perspective of time and aging how beautiful this process actually is. But for young minds, for young hearts, for emotional bodies that are still very young, okay, no judgment here, just trying to speak to the universality of all these qualities of the human experience here. From those younger, youthful follies, it's very difficult to see that it's actually beautiful to let go. It's actually necessary to let go. It's actually vital to our continued trajectory of expansion, of becoming, of growing, of evolving, to let go. And it's childish at best, but even more so, life constricting, life taking, life destroying, to create stories around the process of what inevitably needs to shed and dissolve, and to turn it into a dramatic negative thing. We don't need to do that. You know, case in point, I'm sure we've all experienced the organic, natural, effortless bubbling up of friendship and dissolving of friendship over time. And it's not that anyone said, oh, we need to become best friends, and then, oh, we need to stop being friends. It's just that connections arise, they stay for some time, and then they naturally dissipate as we continue going forward in our individual trajectories of life. So I needed to outgrow this person of 15 years, and then this other person with whom both I shared this dynamic that just was a box. It became a very rigid box based on an outdated version of myself that, for whatever reason, negotiating through words, talking about, in other words, just didn't seem to create changes in the relational dynamic. And so, since I'm not interested in fighting to be heard in my friendships, I'm not interested in getting upset because my needs aren't being met in a relationship, I realized the best possible outcome for everyone here is what nature would have done anyway, which is to naturally let these dissolve. They arose, they stuck around for some time, and they simply fall away through time as well. No story. Whatever the other person's story is about that organic process of the falling away, not my responsibility, not my problem. So taking the high road and transcending circumstance, transcending the self, and learning to cooperate with this organic process of life without getting in the way with my own stories was very difficult. Final boss material for me in these contexts. I'm sure there will be other final bosses in different forms that arise naturally in different contexts. So that is to say, everything is training. Everything is housekeeping. Everything is development of some kind of skill, some kind of muscle, some kind of awareness. And I think if you're staying aware in life, if you're doing your due diligence to stay centered in your stillness and to expand upon that stillness and that peacefulness and to remain in the lane of ease and flow in our interdependent relationships, I think that's the best we can do as a sort of universal framework to use for navigating conflict in any type of relationship. Business, romantic, friendship, familial, on and on and on. Does this action I want to take increase my stillness, expand my stillness, or does it take away from that and cause a disturbance? So, my journey is such that because I'm fucking old, now I don't care about your opinions about what old means. According to my story about what old is, I'm fucking old. Also, my story about old doesn't mean weak or no longer strong or no longer resilient or somehow becoming brittle. It's like a strengthening, a hardening, a profound clarifying, a wonderful, expansive, like knowing that I know, and also knowing that I don't know what I don't know. It's an equalizing humility between these two qualities of what it is to be a thinking, self-reflective being, between knowing and not knowing, and being at peace with both in all circumstances, all situations, all phases of life, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, being equanimous, riding that fucking edge, and being a self-glorified edgelord in that regard. Having fun with it. I don't have time to mess around anymore, and I'm committed to becoming this person that has integrity. And it is the most confrontational decision I've ever made. It's the most confrontational experience and awakening experience that I have had in my life so far. To self-reflect, to choose relationships that are only in integrity with my higher values has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I would say, as someone who has worked with addicts who are in the process of recovering and changing their lives and learning an entirely new way of being at every level of their mind, body, spirit, I would say this is very much like that, with coming out of this addictive mindset and with people who have that addictive mindset, who are feeding into that and perpetuating this disempowered state of being and disempowered way of relating each other, into learning what does it look like, what does it sound like, what does it feel like to choose only empowering thoughts, only empowering relationships, only empowering feelings, only empowering connections, only empowering work, only empowering attitudes about everything in life. For me to find the words for this right now, obviously it's a struggle. It is hard. There's no map anymore. I can't read a book to guide me through this. My inner counsel is my guide through this. And for me to lean on that and trust that through this journey of self-actualization, to the most maximally that I can possibly dream it into being through my actions, thoughts, speech, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. But it's strength training all the same. And you don't get strong by choosing weak-ass motherfucking circumstances. You don't get strong by going towards what's familiar and comfortable. You don't get strong by staying in your comfort zone. It ain't happening. That's not how it works. So that's what happened to me after the Chinese New Year started, as I was immediately confronted with these relationships I was keeping around that were incongruent with my heart. And I chose to let them go. Peacefully, quietly, with love and grace, to the best of my ability. Not with confrontation, not with trying to have a conversation about how I'm dissatisfied in the relationship, but just a letting go. And choosing myself anytime they communicate with me. No confrontation. Again, I'm being vague on purpose, because I'm trying to stick with what is the most universal in this experience that I can share. And my goal here is to help others, and to do that by also exposing the humanity in my own process. Because sharing this helps me become a better guide, better tour guide of the mind, of the consciousness, of the self, of life. There's this saying, the map is not the territory. And it's true. And so everything I'm sharing is like a map. But you're the territory. Well, shit, my GoPro camera died because it's getting too hot. I'm just gonna wrap this up here. How do I wrap this up? Well, it's an ongoing process. The map is not the territory. You are the territory. And with this universal language I'm proposing, I'm providing some of the map, not all of the map. The map is going to look different for everyone. And with self-awareness, which also comes in huge strides by choosing ourselves first, again, with maintaining that inner peacefulness and maintaining as much of that stillness as possible in our decision-making process and action processes. That awareness that comes online acts as a light that lights up the path with such astonishing clarity that I cannot find the words yet to describe the multidimensional clarity that comes online as a result of that. It's like seeing your path from a bird's eye view and a more omni-dimensional view. It's like you can see on the path, above the path, beside the path, to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, below the path. If you can even imagine seeing where you're metaphorically walking from beneath. This omnidirectional quality of awareness is what comes online, and it acts like it's more than a flashlight. It's like a whole bunch of lights come on. And the truth, capital T truth, as I like to call it, is such that once you see it, you can't unsee it. It immediately transforms you. It's a transfiguration or a sublimation of your consciousness onto this new awareness, and it instantly expands you. And it builds that peace, it builds that stillness, it builds that resilience, it builds your trust in your inner counsel, in your intuition, in your inner voice, and it, in a very nonchalant, harmless way, it destroys the inner critic, the doubts, the frustrations, the disappointments, because it gives you a higher perspective. about the nature of the entirety of what you're going through. And as that perspective continues to come online, you build wisdom. And that wisdom is transcendent. It's true in all dimensions of your life, at all ages, all stages of your life. And when that wisdom becomes your guiding principle, well, it's not just easy to let what no longer fits, to let it go, but to love it as you let it go, and to respect it, and to say thank you as you let it go, and mean it from the heart for the gifts that it gave you of increasing your awareness, of increasing your resilience, of increasing your heart, and increasing your contact with your own spirit through the process, and indeed also with the spirit of life itself. And that is such an incredible gift that only by enduring the suffering of this world can we ever possibly unearth this beautiful, eternal gift of awareness. And then it all is worth it. Thanks for coming to my life talk.